Thank you so much for listening to 89.1, The Word and Praise. My name is Aaron, and I am now joined by a very special guest. He is the lead singer of a band that has been going strong for 20 years, over 13 million albums sold, and with hits like Voice of Truth, Thrive, Only Jesus, and Until the Whole World Hears. My very special guest, Mark Hall. Mark, welcome to 89.1.
Hey, Aaron, how you doing, man?
I am terrific. How are you doing, Mark?
We're doing okay. We're having some warm days down here in Atlanta.
I tell you what, I'm in coastal Virginia. It's been fantastic the last few days. I think we got into the 80s earlier in the week.
Okay, you win. We haven't got that high.
Oh, but yeah, you're absolutely right. That false spring is just been glorious.
Yeah, dude.
So, 20 years, Casting Crowns. It's hard to say that. Casting Crowns has been going on for 20 years because I grew up with Casting Crowns as a teenager, and it doesn't feel like 20 years.
It's always kind of funny when someone refers to your favorite music as classic. You're like, wait a minute, my music's classic?
Oh, right. No, I mean, and that's what I get. I talk to younger people now who are, getting into their 18, 20 years old, and they're like, oh,
yeah.
No, that's old music. I'm like, no, it's not. It really isn't.
Oh, man. Yeah, I know I'm getting old. You'll talk to kids about, like, Lord of the Rings, and they look at you like you're talking about Gone with the Wind or something.
Yes. Yeah. So, but we're super excited because you guys are going to be at Chrysler Hall April 4th to perform your 20th anniversary show. This you guys did another leg of this tour. So tell us about what we can expect, because it sounds like it's going to be a little different than the shows you guys have done in the past.
Man, it has been really cool. We just finished the first half in the last year, so we're starting it back up. So we worked all the kinks out for you guys, but we have an orchestra with us. So there's about 20 string players on the stage with us. So you've got the normal Crown songs, the guitar and the rock and all that kind of stuff, but you've also got the string section behind us, because strings have always been a part of what Crowns does. We violin, Melody plays violin in the band, so the strings have always been an element. But there's something warming about a string section behind anything,
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's been fun to start at the first song the world ever heard from us with If We're the Body, and just start singing through the records. And you're going to get to hear your favorite songs from every Crowns record, the stories of how stuff came together. It's just been a really, really fun night for families.
That's awesome. I can't wait. I'm going to be there. I think it's my first opportunity to see you guys in 20 years.
Well, dude, it's about time. Come on, Aaron.
I know. As many shows as I've been to, and as much as I've been around Christian music, a Crown show is just not. I don't think I've ever made it to a Crown show, and I am sorry for that, Mark. I have done you guys a disservice, but I will certainly be there.
I haven't come and watched you do your show at the radio station, so let's just call it even.
All right.
And then I'll have to come visit you at the station too.
Yeah, you know what? That sounds like a deal. I like that idea. That's a great idea.
I like it.
Mark's got the best ideas. Now, you guys also in the last year, was it November, you guys had a documentary-style movie released called Home by Sunday. Now, I was able to watch this movie, and I watched it again last night, just refresh myself, and I cried again. Tears of joy, tears of just the stories that have come out. It was so much less about the band than I expected it to be. It is about the band, but the broader stories that you guys told of how God has utilized your music to touch those outside of the band was very touching.
Yeah, that's the way it started, because I pushed back on them for a long time about making a movie about Crowns. I was like, man, we don't have any car chases. There's no shootouts in our story. We're just a youth group band from the church. So I was like, I don't know if we need to do this, but I did go to him. I said, if you can make it about the songs, and we can walk through stories behind the songs, and then people's stories of how they either inspired the song or were inspired by it, that's where it'll get real. And man, that's some of the best parts. Just even our drummer, that one segment about our drummer who was in my youth group as a kid and really stumbled into addiction, and how God rescued him from that. His story is worth going and seeing it.
Uh,
especially if you've got loved ones that are
mm,
dealing with addiction right now.
absolutely. And his story is super powerful. I was able to see a clip of the show last year, of the movie last year, and I was able to talk with him. And what an amazing person he is. Being able to spend that time to talk with him and meet the other members of the band. Now, you have another member of your band that has been with the band since the beginning. And he's kind of related to you. Uh, your son, I hope I get this right, John Michael, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, is also part of the band too, but he kind of was born into this.
he was definitely born into it, but he wasn't born into playing the bass really well. So I told him, I said, man, I want you to. I didn't even push him to play an instrument, but when he did start playing, it was with his friends at church and leading worship with the kids' church and leading worship with the youth group. And when the time came, I said, hey, just step in and play a few with us. But I told him, I said, man, you might have gotten the door open because you're my kid, but you're my bass player because you're amazing.
Yeah.
And he really is. He's actually writing with me. We wrote a song together on the last record, and we're writing some on this next one.
Oh, that's awesome. I love to hear that. And it's really cool, too, because your kids grew up on the road with you. And again, I don't want to spoil too much from the movie. I encourage you guys to go. It is available on all the streaming platforms to buy or rent. Certainly check it out. But you guys were you had two really big things. Your church ministry was vitally important to you, and your family had to be able to travel with you. You didn't want to be separate from your family for those periods of time that you were on the road throughout the week, which
that's right.
You kind of see a little more often now with bands, but back in the day, that was not the norm.
It really wasn't. So in many ways, I just kind of thought maybe I could write songs for someone else to sing, but I know I'm supposed to be in the church. I know that's my thing. But I'm pulling into the parking lot of the church right now, and I'll be with students all day. That can't go away. And I knew I couldn't get away from my family. And so I was 34 when Crown started. It wasn't like I was a kid and the family started happening after a while. It was, man, we're already going. We've already got our rhythm. I can't dump all that out for music, And so it was really a God thing that we were able to do it, because it's really hard. It's really hard and expensive to take your families out with you. But man, God opened the door, and that's what we did.
Yeah. And, I want to talk about your very first song, too, like we mentioned earlier. So, If We Are the Body, I believe was the first release, correct?
Yeah.
That song, you guys came onto the Christian music scene with a song that really is a convicting song to people, talking about that, some legalism in the church and how people see people and prejudge who's walking through the door when we want people to walk through the door. We want the hurt. We want the people who are who think there are mistakes, or we want those people walking through the door. That was such a powerful message of, hey, let's look at the church honestly. And you guys haven't stopped. I mean, it goes through with this. Your songs are so relational to God and the church.
Man, I appreciate it. I think that's, for me, it's because we're in the church. So I wrote If We're the Body for my church. I don't know that I would have written that song to just throw at the world, like the angry Christians, but I was writing it to my people. And also because I'm in the church and I'm working with students and I'm working with families, you can't be the angry Christian. I mean, good grief. Instagram is full of angry Christians, and it's not accomplishing anything. So a song like If We're the Body has to have a very important word in it. We. If we are the body, why aren't we doing this? You have to start with your own failure and your own weakness before you can talk about somebody else's. That's something I wish a lot of writers could see, because angry Christians just push people away.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You hear it so often, and you hear it from people who walk away from the church and people who refuse to come near the church because of angry Christians. And trying to, it's so much harder to talk and to try to minister to people who have been hurt by the church than if we can just say, hey, you know what? you're broken, I'm broken too. Let's be, here's a Crown song, broken together.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
totally.
but it's honest, it's true. It's that's kind of what the church needs. That's what the people outside the church need to know is, we're not here to fix people. We shouldn't be here to fix
Yeah.
people. That's what God's work is for. But they
Well,
need to
in our
hear it.
generation, we struggle with telling the truth,
Mm-hmm.
and we feel like when you look at Jesus, everything he said was totally against modern culture, totally against it, upside down. But everything he said was for people,
Mm-hmm.
so he did it. He told the truth in love. He always did that. And what we're lacking right now is the love part.
Mm-hmm.
And love earns you the right to speak the truth. Uh, when you're just hurling words into Facebook, it's not hitting who you're aiming at. That person's not even online today.
Mm-hmm.
It's somebody else that gets hit between the eyes because, I don't need this in my life. All these angry religious people, I think, so what I'm saying is you don't stop telling the truth, but you tell it in a way that's transparent and it's redeeming and it has a goal. You have to have a goal. And my goal is for you to know Jesus. My goal is not for me to be right.
Mm. And what a message we need today. I mean, that is what we need infused into the minds of believers today is, hey, let's get off the pedestal here and get into what we're called to do, that great commission, the go into the world and be like Jesus and really take a look at how Jesus, like you just said, like how Jesus interacted with people and how he,
Yeah.
handled the religious radicals.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mark, we're going to recap here. April 4th, 7 o'clock,
Yep.
I believe, Chrysler Hall. Get your tickets. I believe it's castingcrownevents.com.
Yeah, castingcrowns.com.
Mm-hmm.
And we're hoping all our friends in Norfolk will come out and hang out with us that night.
Absolutely. It's going to be a big night. I'm super excited for it. Mark, thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks.
Take care, Aaron.
All right. Thanks, Mark.